All right, if we're all ready to go here, I will call the November meeting of the Crawfordsville School Corporation order. Roll call, all administrators and board members are present. At this time, I would invite everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item is the consent agenda to approve previous meeting minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. No old business. We will move on to new business, and the first item is to consider transfer from education to rainy day fund. Andrew?
Yes, so this is our second semi-annual transfer from the education fund to the rainy day fund. It's a pretty standard transfer resolution, so we would recommend that the board approve this resolution to transfer $900,000 from the education fund to the rainy day fund.
All right. Any questions for Andrew on this? No questions. I would entertain a motion.
I move approval. Second?
Aye.
My mic keeps cutting out here. Second item is the board compensation resolution.
All right, changes to Indiana Code 202647 allows the board to have a base pay rate increase for the first time since 2005. The board may now receive an amount up to 10% of the lowest starting salary of a teacher. Indiana Code also allows the board to be paid a per diem rate for regular and special board meetings. However, with talking to the board members, you guys are hesitant to accept a per diem rate since the base pay rate is a significant increase over where you used to be from 2,000 to 5,000. So with the board wishing to decline the per diem rate of approximately $2,100 a year due to the increase in base pay, it's important to look at how things balance out. I also think it's important to note that the board would now receive a pay raise only when a starting teacher pay increases. So I think one of the things that we do really well here in Crawfordsville is that our admin contracts are associated to the teacher pay increases. When a teacher gets a raise, the admin gets a raise, and now the board would get a raise. So I recommend the board approve the resolution on board compensation.
All right, any discussion here? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. Next item, consider revision to the 2025-2026 classified and non-CBA pay rates and benefits.
If you looked in your folder, you would see that we had approved part of the pay rates and benefits earlier. This goes in to increase administrator pay rates 2%. It does have an greater increase than 2% for the directors of preschool and AVA due to their increased student enrollments and responsibilities. Increases vehicle stipends by 2%, increases our year-round professional positions 403B contribution amount, and therefore increases the corporation matching into a 401A. What we're really doing here with the classified staff that are year-round is we generally treat their benefits the same as teachers. Since the last board meeting you approved teacher benefits, this is now coming back to correct anything that wasn't originally increased for the classified and to set the administrator pays in this document. I recommend the board approve the revisions to the 2025-26 classified and non-CBA pay rates and benefits.
All right, any questions for Dr. Riker? There being none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Next item is the classified handbook.
Since we just made changes to classified pay rates and benefits, now we come along to approve the changes in the classified handbook. No changes in the handbook were related to anything other than the increased pay rates and benefits that were passed in item C. I recommend the board approve the revised classified handbook.
Any questions? I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve changes to the classified handbook.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next item is to consider administrative addendums in the business manager contract.
All right. The addenda are revised to match the administrator and business manager salaries that were approved in item C. And I recommend that the board approve the administrative addendums in business manager contract.
All right, there was a lot of information in that packet, so any questions?
We might want to correct the spelling of addendum.
Yeah.
All right, if there are no other questions or comments, would entertain a motion to approve the administrative addendums in the business manager contract.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving right along, the next item is to consider a memorandum of understanding with Rock Point Church. Sounds like a good emergency plan to me.
Yeah, so the purpose here is to establish media presence during a emergency crisis situation. So we had our reunification drill this fall and had the conversation out of that with the new central office location being here on the same site as CHS. So through conversations with the safety team and local agencies, we felt like that was a good place for that to be. And appreciate Amber Reed's work and Rock Point's leadership and allowing us to use their facility in these potential situations. So I recommend approval of the MOU.
All right, any discussion here? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, the next item is to consider human sexuality instructional materials.
Yeah, so these materials are being used for human sexuality instruction and are in alignment with the new requirements set out by SCA 442. So these materials would apply to our students who are taking health or high school credit, so that's where this instruction does occur. The main change is not as much content as the actual curriculum materials that are used there. So part of Indiana Code under SCA 442 does require 2 video clips be used. So again, not any change to content versus material that needs to be used to deliver. So the 2 videos that you see in the packet, one is ultrasound video showing early fetal development, and then a second video to show the process of weekly development of pregnancy from fertilization to birth. So again, no content changes, just requirement through Indiana Code on using video to deliver those 2 pieces of instruction.
Thank you, Dr. Bocart. Any questions?
And just to clarify ages on this would be 8th, 9th, 10th grade in general?
Yes, yep.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, we could include the 7th grade band, but it will be 8th, 9th, and 10th. So that would be 7th grade would be an outlier.
Anything else? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval of these new instructional materials.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is to consider the Common School Technology Advancement Application.
Yes, so we use these common school advancements to help fund a portion of our technology expenses. The fall window is currently open until Friday, and thank you to Doug Langridge on his work in getting this application completed. The application that you have in your board pack is to help with purchases of software for PowerSchool, library management, and computer security. It also includes a full refresh of staff desktop computers and projectors for Hose and Nicholson Elementary Schools. And total of this application is approximately $230,000, payable over 5 years after the 1-year reimbursement period. And so I would recommend that the board approve this application for the Common School Technology Advancement Fund.
All right, any questions for Andrew? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Next item is personnel. You have resignations and a retirement.
Yes. First, we have Mary Scheidler, who is retiring from being a school counselor. However, she has been with us less than 10 years, so it is actually a resignation from Crawfordsville Schools. But she is retiring. It just is a legal term or terminology there different. So, and Lauren Strasburger resigning as a Wilson aide. So I recommend the board approve resignations.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay against
I know.
Mary's resignation.
Mary was a wonderful addition to our school corporation.
Absolutely. She will be missed. You have some hirings to recommend.
Yes, I recommend Mercedes Wallace as a Nicholson permanent building substitute. Recommend Grayson Gracie as a Hoover behavior specialist. Recommend Sarah Ruckel as a Wilson preschool aide, and I recommend Kelsey Wood as a Hoover teacher's assistant.
Can you just explain what it means to be a permanent building sub?
Yes, so we used to never use the word permanent in the HR world, but it is in Indiana code that it is allowed, and also as a permanent building sub, they do count into our 65% calculation. So what a permanent building sub does is, so Mercedes will show up every day to Nicholson, and Nicholson will place her as needed. So in that helps us with teacher absences. And yeah, so I think that the use of subs has increased, and this allows buildings to have that. Then on the days when they do not have any absences, then they basically have an aide or an assistant available to them. So it does give them a different benefit category than being just a substitute teacher.
So that was my question. Does the substitute pay apply to their compensation?
Yeah, they are $20 higher than a substitute, and they're eligible for assistant benefits, so they can be on our insurance.
I'm the behavior specialist. What specifically does that position do?
Yes, so this person has RBT training. However, we cannot call her an RBT, and Brent's going to have to come up with RBT because it's coming blank as I'm trying to speak.
Registered behavior technician.
Yeah. Yes. So since we do not have the proper role to supervise that person as an RBT, we will call them a behavior specialist. This falls into a professional category. So again, I think you're starting to see these roles come into our schools, just kind of like, 20 years ago, the idea of having RNs in buildings was kind of coming along just because of needs. They definitely help with our students who, whether they're students with autism or emotional disabilities or any sort of behavioral needs, somebody that is kind of trained, someone who has certifications to be trained to work with students with such behavior needs. Grayson will be our first, and I'm excited to see, and she has served this role in other school corporations and other positions, so,
Coming back to see.
yes. So, and, yeah, if no other questions, I would recommend the board approve the hirings.
All right. Is there a motion?
I move approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Change of position with no action required.
Yeah, here's Ivy Ballinger moves from a special ed assistant to a Hoover maternity leave teacher. She is the licensed teacher. Then Allison Barton will move from the Hoover permanent substitute into a temporary position in that sped assistant during the maternity leave. So, again, yes, there's no action required, but just letting you know that we keep HR paperwork hopping all the time. So,
year-round, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, moving on to business manager report. Andrew.
Yes, thank you. I just have a couple items tonight. First, we are very close to getting the Voice Employee Hub live with all of our employees. I've been meeting over the last couple weeks with our voice vendor, going over communications needed for staff and what training we need for them to do or for us to do with our employees. Once live, employees can access all of their personal information, request changes to tax documents, direct deposit, see all of their payroll information. They can access pay stubs, W-2s, 1099s, 1095s, anything and everything. And it goes in sync with our software that we already have in place. We have our bond issue is coming up. Tomorrow is the meeting at the Indiana Bond Bank. So Baker Tilly submitted our bond application on our behalf to the Indiana Bond Bank through the community funding program. We have a preliminary draft for that right now. It just has to go through their board of directors meeting tomorrow, which I will be in attendance at with Baker Tilly and our bond counsel to have that approved. Once that's approved, we'll work with the bond counsel and Baker Tilly on next steps, and we should see funds coming in the middle of December for that bond issue. We went this route to be able to gain more funds to have availability for different projects and for emergency situations. Final item I have is our operational analysis. Baker Tilly is getting set to begin that for our school corporation. They will be on site on December 8th to conduct meetings and interviews with staff and members of administration. We still have to go through planning phases of that, of who they're going to talk to, what questions they're going to ask. They're going to look at all of our financial data to see where we can make some possible cuts, trim some things to be able to survive the next couple of years of what's happening with the property tax scene right now. So that will help us in our future decision making. That is all I have tonight.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Assistant Superintendent report, Dr. Bocart.
Yeah, a couple things. First, in the operations world. So, as we know from early last week, winter season is at least here, hit or miss. So, met with Andy Wagner and his SSC team for planning and prep for winter season, snow and ice removal. So, appreciate Andy and his team and their plan to keep our facilities ready and safe. So, playground installation for Hoover and Nicholson. So we had received that matching grant with Game Time, and so that is helping fund these structures. So that will start next Monday at Hoover, and then they will move to Nicholson. So that'll be exciting for Hoover and Nicholson as they get their new main structure of playground units. In the teaching world, curriculum instruction assessment, it's been a few weeks of learning. So attended a Center of Excellence in Leadership of Learning PD with Madison Smith, Maggie Bryant, and Chloe Carter. That was at the University of Indianapolis. So that focus was on the Indiana College Core and really just kind of a workshop model, which was really great. And Madison and Chloe and Maggie all expressed appreciation of being able to work with the help of CEL, the Center of Excellence in Leadership, as we map out our current offerings to meet ICC as we look at AP and dual credit and coming up with that block of 30 credit hours that can transfer to all Indiana public institutions, so and private institutions. NAGC had the pleasure last week of attending the National Association of Gifted Children Conference in Pittsburgh with Madison Smith, Emily Race, Jenny Veach, Carissa Ajayi, Cindy Turner, and Kelly Bowling. So it was a few days of great learning and always a joy to also watch our teachers network with other teachers too. So an example would be we were kind of waiting after a session and where's Cindy? And she's still chatting with the AP calculus teacher that she came across. So good takeaways and network and learning from there. Marion University, attended roundtable with Marion University and their students in their residency cohort with Olivia Barnett and Mary Scheidler. So this is a great connection and engagement and partnership that Dr. Riker initiated last year, and now some things coming around to that. So as a partner school, we met with 6 of their students in that program, and could potentially serve as a resident location for a year of teaching for them in that program. So Olivia, Mary did a great job. Olivia came out of that program too, so it was a great connection for her, and she did a great job speaking with those students.
You know, Olivia coming out of Marion, and we have some other local students in that Marion education program. So our goal is to get as many of them here as possible. So actually we'll meet with 2 of them on Saturday morning while they're in town to discuss future possibilities with Crawfordsville Community Schools. So.
Last one I have there is New Teacher Institute. So past 2 years of teachers, those are that are in year 1 and year 2 with us. So we met for fall seminar days here in the boardroom for some PD, and so continue to enjoy seeing our new staff grow in their classrooms. Appreciate the work our mentors are doing as well. So Rachel O'Neill, Andrew Swank, Tricia Wicker, Molly Wycott, and Spring Perry serve as mentors to our year 1 and year 2 teachers, and continue to do a great job working with our new staff. So excited to continue to see them grow. And that is your assistant superintendent report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bocart. Superintendent report, Dr. Recker.
Yeah, good evening. Grateful for my team with Andrew and Brent and Stephanie. You can see all the amazing things they do to help us, help me serve you to lead our school corporation. So grateful for them. So had the privilege of presenting to the retired teachers of Montgomery County on the impact of SEA 1 and changes in preschool funding. They had wonderful questions and asked how they could help, and hopefully we will see plenty of them at the legislative breakfast on December 13th, which I'll mention again later. And I will say that Dr. Steele wrote me a note, and I'm bragging just because I'm just so happy that she gave me an A+ on my presentation. So, yeah, so she hired me. I'm still trying to win her approval. So, you know, Hoover and Nicholson both put on Veterans Day programs. Hoover does an amazing job of lining up with their Purple Star school status. Hoover also participated in the Veterans Day Parade. Dr. Bocart and I went to, because there was concerns that maybe it was a little too cold, and as long as you were on the east-west streets, it was fine. But Hoover had bags of hats and gloves, and most of the kids were very well dressed. Some of the kids didn't want to wear hats, and was there as a parent, ran out and put his own hat on his son's head, and then watched the kid walk 5 steps and take it off. So I did let the parent know. I pointed out the bag of hats that the teachers were carrying. But no, I think it's an amazing opportunity that our kids get the education and understanding of Veterans Day at Hoover. Tricia Wicker and others there do a great job with that. The CHS band also participated in the Veterans Day Parade and sounded excellent. Would like to express our appreciation to Senator Buchanan, Representative Baird, and Representative Thompson for meeting with us to discuss SEA 1 and various other school issues. Thanks to Steve, who kind of initiated that, was he talked to Representative Thompson at an event and asked if he would speak with us. We appreciate their time and attention. Had the pleasure of seeing the CMS ELF musical presentation. We are blessed to have such talented students and staff to put on such an impressive middle school performance. Also, the CHS play is this week, so I'll put a link below for tickets. Last week I was at the Indiana Association of Public Schools Superintendent Conference. You know, it's a great time to get together and everybody talk about how SEA 1 affects them, but plenty of things over, you know, from purchasing to leadership, to all sorts of ways to be involved, and how to work with your communities. Also serve on the Wabash Valley Education Service Center Board, and we had hosted a training on the new accountability model. So probably in January, one of us up here will present to you the new accountability model. Last year, I think we shared or the year before, we shared the new pathways, and these things are coming back. So the letter grades come back this year after, I believe, being out for 7 years. There's some things that'll work well for us, and I think through 4 through 8, there's some opportunities for us. The K3 grading accountability system will be difficult because if a student does not pass the iRead 3, then the student can basically earn no points. And for the accountability, and we all know that the iRead 3 is a very fair test, except for we have a large percent of our students who English is a second language, and our students who have a special education identification that makes passing a very fair and appropriate test. But so hopefully there'll be some adjustments to that. There are adjustments 4 through 8 for students who have those needs and do show progress, which I think is very positive, but that initial part will be very difficult for us. But we are working diligently to do everything we can to get our students to pass to a reading level that's proficient enough for that test. Did have a meeting with local preschool leaders to discuss the state of preschools. If you're not aware, preschool vouchers are frozen, are reduced, and it is significantly impacting the income revenue for preschools. I know that we've had 2 preschools close in our community in the last month, and I do believe that others will follow. So as schools, we also are having to look at, we will have to have conversations about what our preschool fees are and our structure to deal with the reduction in funds for preschool. Again, reminder, fall play goes Friday through Sunday, and legislative breakfast Saturday, December 13th. If you would like to attend, please let Stephanie know, and she will get us all registered. I'm grateful to be your superintendent and proud to be an Athenian.
Thank you, Dr. Riker. Board member communications.
Yeah, this last Thursday was the Crawfordsville Schools K through 12 Art Extravaganza at the Carnegie Museum. Several years ago, I reported that we had set a record at the Carnegie for the art show. Was our highest ever event, and I can tell you that we have now beaten it. We had 575 people come through the Carnegie last Thursday for the art show. We had so much wonderful art from our teachers that we normally have the art upstairs, and we actually spilled over into one of the downstairs galleries because the high school teachers really brought extra this year. And I just really appreciate the teachers that come, because this is an evening event, and not only do they come and bring us the art for us to hang, but and some of them actually came in. One of the high school teachers actually came in and helped put a jewelry in a case and things like that. But the majority of the teachers, one was out of town, but every other teacher came and spent a good 3 hours from 3:30 to 6:30 after school at the Carnegie, met with parents, met with the students. The teachers were just glowing when they left. They were so excited. They said the number of parents and kids that want to take pictures with them was just super heartwarming. I just really enjoy this event so much. So it's a great partnership between the Carnegie and Crawfordsville Schools. So I invite you, if you haven't had a chance to come out, the art will be on display through December 13th, which is a Saturday. That allows us to get the art back to the teachers so they can get it back to the kids at the end of the semester. But really exciting things going on in our arts program, which I just love it.
Thanks, Kathy. Sorry I missed it this year, but I'll drop by and see the display because a lot of talent there. Yeah. All right. There being no patrons, I don't anticipate any patron comments at this time. If there's no other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Thanks, everyone.